Ever sat down to paint an environment or building and thought, where do I even start? Maybe you've got this cool idea in your head, but once you try to put it on canvas, things start feeling, well, flat. Perspective is confusing. The space doesn't look right, and suddenly you're lost in a swirl of questions. Trust me, you're not alone. Background painting can feel intimidating, especially if you're not sure how to plan things out, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. If you break down the environment into stages and use a few key tools, it gets a lot more manageable. Hi, I'm Josh, one of the instructors here at Wing Canvas, and I'll walk you through my full process of painting this background illustration, from sketch to final render. I'll also show you the 3 essential tools that help me turn this rough drawing into this finished piece. Like with any art piece, it all begins with research, gathering ideas to help you find your direction. For this painting, starting with the theme really helped shape my approach. I was really vibing with retro-futuristic cyberpunk city. Kind of a mouthful, I know, but the more specific you are with your theme, the more confidently you'll make your decisions later on. Lighting, color, design, all of it flows from that. Knowing your theme is like giving your painting a backbone. It grounds everything, and once you've got that, it's time to dive into references. Now, I didn't spend hours digging for the perfect image. That's a trap, especially with the rise of AI images cluttering your search. Instead, I looked for photos and artwork that captured the vibe I was going for, stuff that visually clicked with the mood I wanted to create. Some ended up being AI, but that didn't matter since I wasn't copying them. I was just using them as inspiration and direction. Once you've got your references, it's rough time. Roughs are like sketchy visual brainstorming. You want to get your ideas down fast and loose. See what's working, what's not. Try a bunch of variations. Your first idea usually isn't the best one, and even if it is, testing others will help you refine it or combine the best parts together. For this stream, I only had time to show one idea, but in my classes, I usually do several. Here's an example. With your concept locked in, it's time to plan your shot. And that brings us to perspective. Here's how I like to think about it. Don't get lost in the technical terms like horizon lines and vanishing points. Instead, think like a film director. You've got a camera. You're on set. Where are you placing it? Low angle, bird's eye view, wide shot of the skyline? With that in mind, for this piece I wanted a classic alleyway shot, so I went with a 1-point perspective, placing the camera low to the ground so the buildings loom over the character. I dropped the horizon line near the bottom third and planted my vanishing point right in the middle. 1-point perspective is super beginner friendly, but still powerful. Everything, walls, signs, garbage bins, all angled towards that single vanishing point. I also placed the character's head near it to naturally draw the viewer's eye there. We have a whole playlist on perspective, including videos on 1-point perspective. I'll drop the links in the description below. Oh, and if you'd like my digital working file for this painting, so you can see my entire process and how I organize my layers, download it for free, link in the description below. Now comes the hard part, the actual painting. Environments are tough. They take time and brainpower, especially if you're aiming for realism. Because I was working live on stream with limited time, I made 2 big choices to simplify things. 1, stick to using 1-point perspective, and 2, using atmospheric perspective with a mostly monochromatic palette. If you're new to atmospheric perspective, here's the gist. Objects closer to you are more detailed and have a higher contrast. Objects further away lose contrast, detail, and saturation. To apply this, I used a real art nerd trick and broke the painting down into foreground, midground, and background. Foreground, super dark, almost black. These are your closest objects. Midground, neutral midtones, the in-between space. And background, light and desaturated, the distant skyline and sky. On top of that, I kept things mostly blue to unify the palette and keep things simple. There are other colors in there, but the blue sets the tone. If you're tackling a city scene for the first time, I recommend trying this method. Choose a theme you're excited about, find a reference image that matches the vibe, pick a clear camera angle and use a simple perspective setup, apply atmospheric perspective with a limited palette. It's a great starting point, and once you've got that solid base, you can keep adding layers of details and polish. Now let's talk about painting the city itself. Sci-fi cyberpunk cities are dense, like super dense. You've got signs everywhere, cramped buildings, visual chaos. It looks amazing though, but it's a lot. Drawing every building by hand, not really feasible. So I took a page from Spider-Verse and leaned into Impressionism, implying detail instead of drawing every piece. And now let's move over to the animation function in Krita so that we can animate this particular part of the background. For the animation part, I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to have the neon signs glow and blink for this illustration. It adds a little bit of life to the piece and makes it feel like the drawing has a pulse to it. But instead of showing you how I animated every single sign in the illustration, I'm going to simply demonstrate how you too can animate a glowing effect to your pieces. And to do so, I'm going to use a simple red ball to demonstrate this exact effect. If you'd like to see a step-by-step demo of the animation process done in Krita, which is a free drawing and animation software, you can find the link in the description below. Now that you've seen how the glowing effect is done, I simply took this principle and applied it to majority of the signs in the illustration. Now, of course, we couldn't have all the signs blinking simultaneously, so all the signs use the same glowing effect but spaced out differently on the timeline. Some to glow slower while others pulsate at a much more frequent rate, but not only that, I also made sure to offset when the signs would go off. This way, the blinking and the glowing feels more natural to how signs might actually glow in real life. Join a virtual class in seconds and learn live from professional artists. Enjoy weekly assignments, individual guidance, and real-time feedback on your artwork so you can create like a fearless illustrator. If you learned something new, please like and share this with a fellow art nerd. If you love receiving quality and free arts education, subscribe. Here's a couple other videos you can check out next.